163. 162. Yasya acchanta dussilyam maluva salang iva otatang karoti so tatathanam yathanam icchati diso. Good. Now you can recite without me. Meaning, he who is exceedingly corrupt, like a malua creeper, is strangling a sala tree, does to himself what even an enemy would wish for him. He who is exceedingly corrupt, like a malua creeper. Malua is the name of a creeper in India. The nature of this creeper is such, when it develops by going round and round and round around a tree, the leaves of this creeper is like this. And when the rains come, accumulate lot of water. Then the tree cannot carry the weight of the creeper. With the water, the tree will collapse. In the same manner, when the man's mind is very heavy with greed, jealousy, anger, evil forces, the life cannot hold. It is too heavy. Because of that, that person collapses physically and mentally. After that, completely ruin the life. So, external enemies cannot create so much disturbances or sufferings to destroy our life. Our own enemies that we accommodate in our mind completely ruin us. The parable given by the Buddha is very easy for us to understand. The creeper goes on developing, growing, but the leaves collect water. The tree cannot stand, because of that it collapses. So when we develop our anger, jealousy, grudge and ill will and evil forces in the mind, we completely ruin our life, our mind, our body. In another discourse, Buddha has clearly mentioned this. Tanhaya jayati soko, tanhaya jayati bhaya. Tanhaya vippamuttassa natti soko kuto bhaya. In the same Dhammapada. Tanha, I think you are used to this word tanha, craving. Tanhaya jayati, create. Craving or tanha, create, soka, sufferings, sadness, disappointment, unhappiness. Our craving create disturbance. Tanhaya jayati soko. Tanhaya jayate bhaya. Tanha, our craving, create bhaya, fear. If there is no craving in our mind, we never experience fear. Because of craving, we maintain this fear. Because of this craving, we maintain worries, disappointment, unhappiness. Tanhaya vippamuttassa. When the mind is free from that tanha, from that craving, natti soko, no more worries. Kuto bhaya, where is fear? No fear, no worries. If there is no craving, it is true. There is nobody in this world who can deny these sayings of the Buddha. Now, you might have heard Arahantas, saints, the Buddhas have no worries, no fear. Never appear worries and fear in their mind because they have no craving. But as long as we maintain this craving, we have to face. Because this craving we use in various ways. By harming others, disturbing others, and bluffing others, and doing certain things knowing that we harm ourselves. Like drinking, or smoking, or taking drugs, or gambling. We know we ruin ourselves because of that. One day, our life will be ended earlier because of this. But still, we have no courage to stop that. That is the weakness of the mind. We know that certain things that we do, it is not that we do not know. We know they are harmful, they are immoral, and they are dangerous. They harm our life or our family, our property, but no courage to stop it. Weakness of the mind. They are called human weaknesses. So, by force we cannot stop them, only through understanding. That is why religious knowledge is important. Until realization appear in our mind, we cannot stop. Then, through that realization, so understanding, we make up the mind. I must stop this. The mind is weak, cannot. We can go and pray and worship and do all sorts of activities to stop. Doesn't work. Our mind is responsible for that. External sources have nothing to do with this. The Buddha had to, besides this, because of Devadatta, you know him very well, the cousin brother of the Buddha. He has become the number one enemy of the Buddha. Why did he become his enemy? The Buddha is a harmless person, most compassionate person, enlightened person. Then why some people become enemies? It is not that the Buddha has any weakness, but others could not satisfy their craving. When they could not gain what they wanted, they become enemies of the Buddha. There are so many enemies. Brahmins in India who had been bluffing innocent people in the name of religion by taking advantage for their living. The Buddha pointed out many of those practices are wrong. There are no religious value in those practices. Then Brahmins become his enemies because they were living on various practices by misleading innocent people. A simple example, how people can misuse even religion. Recently, you might have read in the newspaper some of those drug addicts and gangsters, after shaving their head and using yellow robe and carrying a begging bowl and collect money going Pindapata in Penang, in Johor Bahru, and they were arrested by the police. How they misuse religion. So we had to make statement in the newspaper. There is no such Pindapata or going arms around asking money. The monks never go out for collecting money, only for food or medicine. But these people misuse innocent people, saying that they are collecting for this building fund and this and that. After that they go out and take drugs and enjoy their life. So, different religious groups use religions for various purposes by misleading innocent people. That is why religious knowledge is important. Then they cannot bluff you. They cannot cheat you. You know whether they are right or wrong. So Devadatta and so many other religious groups. How many enemies were there who wanted to kill him and who have killed many of his disciples, the monks and the nuns, by those enemies. And Moggallana, the chief disciple of the Buddha, also killed by gangsters persuaded by some other religious group. Why he was killed? He used to visit various other planes of existence where those living beings who experience the wonderful life, those who have done lot of merits, and those who suffer in various other planes of existence, those who have committed bad karma or bad sins. So he come back and explain to others. I have seen how people experience most pleasant, wonderful, happy life, those who have done this kind of meritorious deeds. I have seen many of those who have committed bad karmas and bad deeds, how they suffer. Because of this, more and more people turn towards Buddhism by giving up their former belief or faith. So the other religionists could not tolerate this. Because of that, they persuaded, bribed certain gangsters to go and kill Muggalla. So Devadatta, he was a very greedy man. As a monk, he developed his meditation, he attained the jhana stages. Just to appear and disappear and fly like a bird and walk on the water, this kind of supernormal powers he developed. But his craving, his greed, and selfish ideas never disappear from the mind. So he wanted to gain full authority to control the Sangha community and all the religious activities. So approached the Buddha and told him, now you are getting old. Why not you hand over the authority for me to run all the activities and to control the Sangha community? So the Buddha knew that this person is not suitable for that. He is greedy, he is selfish, and his motivation is to gain more power. So he rejected. Because of that, he became the number one enemy. So, how many times he tried to kill the Buddha? The Buddhas must face natural death. No one can kill a Buddha like Jesus or some other religious teachers. Buddhas must face natural death. Therefore they could not kill him, but injured him, throwing stone and insulting, accusing, blaming, criticizing, condemning, using all the vulgar words. The Buddha had to tolerate all these things because he knows that he is right. And fear and worry never appear in their mind. So their minds are free. In our case, we cannot tolerate those things because we have egoism, pride, craving, selfishness. Then we cannot tolerate. We cannot calm the mind to face them. Otherwise, when we develop our understanding, the Dhamma, means the truth, then we must have courage to face certain things without creating violence or disturbances, and without harming and disturbing others, maintain gentleness. This is the advantage of religious knowledge. So, still we are in initial stage. We are trying to train ourselves by learning, by knowing what religious teachers have taught us. That is what we need. Now we can see the way how Buddha has mentioned Now here the Buddha says that the tree falls down because of the creeper. In the same manner, when a person develops too much of craving in his or her mind, that person will collapse. So what happened to Devadatta? He went on by creating division. 500 monks followed him. They are also against the Buddha. Later, when those monks also came to know that Devadatta was not an honest person, again come back and join with the Buddha. Very few of them remained. Before his death, he wanted to come and apologize. He knew all the mistake that he has committed. Ask his followers to carry him. He was very weak. They reached up to the gate of the Jetavana monastery where the Buddha lived. Then he said, I am very thirsty. Please bring me some water. So they went to collect some water. Meanwhile, he fell down and died on the spot. He had no chance to go and see the Buddha. Before that, he died. Just like the tree falls down, Devadatta also fell down. Then what happened to Devadatta? He has committed, in simple language we can say mortal sins, as the Christian terms, mortal sins. 5 kinds of mortal sins. If any of us has committed one of these mortal sins, it is impossible for that person to attain sainthood or arahanthood within that lifetime. Not only that, after death, it is impossible for that person to have a better rebirth. Rebirth takes place in a very unfortunate state where there are a lot of suffering. No one can stop this. But after paying for what this person has done, I think you know, according to Buddhism, there is no eternal hell or eternal heaven, only for a certain period. So according to the degrees of bad karma, suffer for a long period and again come back, because the good deeds, good karma that person has done still remain. Again come back. So the Buddha mentioned this unfortunate, this stupid man, although he had developed his meditation, although he gained jhanic power through meditation, who could perform supernormal power, because of his craving, he collapsed. But after paying for what he has done, again he will come back. One day, he will become a Pacceka Buddha. Because all the merits that he has accumulated remains there to support him. This is the Buddhist attitude. Never condemn a person to suffer forever. After paying for a certain period, come back to a normal life. Then you can, I didn't explain what are those 5. First thing, by killing our own father, knowing that this is our father. By killing our own mother. By killing a perfect, holy, religious man like Arahantas. People can kill Arahantas, but not the Buddha. Moggallana was Arahanta, but he was killed. Then creating injuries to a Buddha. I told you no one can kill a Buddha, but can injure. Devadatta has done that. He created that mortal sin. Earlier he created another one. What is that? He created division, divided the Sangha community into 2 groups, 2 rival parties. That is also a mortal sin. But that can be done by a monk. If you do that, you create a bad karma, but it will never become a mortal sin to you. It is a very bad karma for you to pay. But if done by a monk, to him this will become a mortal sin. There is the difference. So, now what happened to Angulimala? He has killed more than 1,000 human beings. But he did not go to hell to suffer. Because he has not committed any of these 5 mortal sins. By knowing that he is doing wrong thing, he stopped. Then followed the Buddha, become a monk, cultivated, developed, purified the mind. All the good deeds that he has done during previous birth also are still there. He was misled by his teacher to kill others. He did not want to kill anybody, but he was misled. So he had the chance to attain arahanthood and nirvana. See the nature of karma. By using our effort, by developing our understanding, we can overcome certain mistakes, certain bad things, certain bad karma that we have committed earlier. Not by worshipping and praying and any other rites and rituals, but by cultivating and developing. I think you can remember I have explained. There are 3 stages for us to cultivate. Due to our ignorance or misunderstanding or greed, assume we have done a lot of bad karma. One day we realized. Then determine not to repeat, not to commit such evil deeds again. That is the first stage. Now that is not enough. From that day onward, you have to do a lot of good deeds and good karmas. Go on developing, accumulating. Good karmas means doing some service to others, release others' suffering, help others, those who really need your support. All these are good karmas. And now you are developing, creating, accumulating more and more good karma. Also not enough. You have to train your mind by reducing your anger, your jealousy, your ill will, your selfishness. Reduce. If you complete these three, you can overcome the bad effect of the bad karmas you have committed earlier. This is the method taught by the Buddha, not by praying to any god. The belief that people maintain at the dying moment, if that person believes in God, the God comes and washes away all the sins and take him to heaven. A very childish way of belief or introducing religion to innocent people. So, Devadatta, according to the Buddhist text, is still suffering because he has created very heavy mortal sins. But there will be a day for him to come out and start a religious way of life. That is how craving can mislead us to commit any kind of wicked thing. Either for us to enjoy our life or even for our survival. We use this craving wrong way. Then create a lot of bad karma. So simple, very easy to understand. This is the way how the Buddha tried to adjust our way of life. So we should not think, oh, it is too late now. We have done a lot of bad things, therefore it is too late. No, it is not too late. I told you this story. I don't know whether you can remember. A hunter, almost every day he goes out for hunting animals. He has not done any good karma. One of his sons has become a monk. When this old man was about to die, and this also I have explained, when we are going to die, before our death, all the karmic activities start to project into our mind from the subconscious mind, one after the other, good and bad, all are mixed up. Good karmas and bad karmas. Earlier or now, we cannot decide or we cannot understand what kinds of karma will appear at that moment. Because purposely we cannot create. It is natural. Now if you think in this way, we can do anything now. But at the dying moment, we will think one of our good karmas. Then we can have a better rebirth. It doesn't work. It is like this. When you go to bed, you think, tonight I like to have this dream. Do you think you get it? No. So the karma also exactly like the purposely you cannot create that. All are going on accumulating throughout our life. All mix up, good and bad, good and bad. So we do not know which one come at the last thought, before our last breath. So this hunter, first bad karmic thought appeared in the mind. Right. Then the second stage is the indication or the signal or the sign of that karma, whether it is good karma or bad karma, appears. If it is a bad karma, then that person can see the vision of jungles, darkness, fierce animals, very miserable things which create fear and worry. That is the second stage. And fire, flame of a fire. Now he has seen the flame of fire. It is not a good indication. But what happened when he saw the flame of the fire? Remember, my sons, the robes also the same color. The inspiration, the happiness that appeared in that dying man's mind, because of that, reversed. Then he had the chance to be born in a suitable stage, not as animals or hell or any other suffering, because of the inspiration and the happiness that appeared in the dying person's mind. There is another saying in Mahasamaya Sutra. You can see this in the Paritta chanting book. Yekechi buddhang saranang gatate nate gamissanti apaya pahaya manusang dehang devakayang paripuryasan. If anyone can die by taking refuge in the Buddha, Yekechi buddhang saranang gatate, by taking refuge in the Buddha, nate gamissanti apayam, although that person has committed certain bad karmas, he never go to hell. Nate gamissanti apayam, hell. Pahaya manusang dehang, after his or her death, devakayang paripuryasanti, he will get the chance to be born among the devas. Because he died when he was holding that concept, that belief, that inspiration, that confidence by taking refuge in the Buddha. That is why it is very important when a person is going to die, when he or she is conscious, try to show the Buddha image or some paritta chanting, some sort of religious service for that person to recall certain good karmas, if not the immediate vision appear in the mind, hold on. After that, the other karmas that stay behind won't go against this. Then can have a better rebirth. So it does not mean but all the bad karmas committed by this person wash away. No, remains. Immediate rebirth takes place because of that. If that person did not accumulate more and more good karma during that particular life, then the bad karma again come and this is the system. This is the nature of karma. Then life after life can go on developing more and more good karmas, and one day attain arahanthood and nirvana, then all the other bad karmas withdraw. Cannot catch. It's a very justifiable way, the reasonable way the Buddha has explained how this karmic action or the function of karmic activities. So if we are wise, we know how to adjust our way of life. Then there are many other stories what happened during the Buddha's time and how they could manage to overcome their weaknesses and bad karmic effect through a very mild, very simple, good karmic action at the last moment. Immediate effect. But later, the bad karmas will follow if that person did not develop further and further according to their religious way of life. This is very, very risky, our life, and very uncertain. We cannot plan. Even for within one lifetime also we cannot plan. Lot of changes take place. What about after nowadays? One who has planned this, Bodhisattva, the Buddha, by practicing all the paramitas, perfection, good qualities, virtues, knowledge, wisdom, life after life, life after life, he planned very well. Through his aspiration, will, then continue, life after life, he continue until he gain his enlightenment. In our case, no certainty, because our minds are wavering. Environment, temptation, irritation, disturbances change the mind. This is the weakness. Now we are good Buddhists. We try to be good. We can understand what is right and what is wrong. We are not small kids. But when circumstances arise, temptation arise, or irritation, no controlling power. Then we forget that we are Buddhists at that time. We surrender ourselves to that temptation or that irritable feeling, become very violent or aggressive. If the mind is tamed, disciplined, then it is not so easy to influence the mind. Stand very firmly. Strong determination. Even without any religion also. Forget about religion. The mind is the same. Mental activities are 163. Sukkarani asaduni attano ahitani ca yang vehitanca sadhunca tang ve parama dukkaram sukkarani asaduni attano ahitani ca yang vehitanca sadhunca tang ve parama dukkaram. Easy to do are things that are hard and not beneficial to oneself, but very, very difficult indeed to do is that which is beneficial and good. Very simple saying of the Buddha, but very meaningful. I do not know whether you have read that book, Two Masters, One Message, by C. Amo, a Christian pastor. He has written that book as a thesis for his PhD degree. Buddhism and Christianity, Two Masters, One Message. In that book, he says, many places from Buddhist book, how they have got the ideas to write the New Testament Bible. He is a Christian priest. And this is one of the evidence that he gives. These two stanzas, the ideas of these two stanzas also can find in New Testament. He says, if they have not borrowed this from Dhammapada, how can these two come together in the Bible also? There are many they have taken from the very beginning, from Hinduism, from Buddhism, various philosophy, teachings, doctrines, practices, enrich their religions. And today, we are learning many things from Christians because they are very advanced. And we are far behind them. But as far as doctrine and religion and philosophy, morals and ethics are concerned, we are not behind anybody. But the way how we handle and use and introduce and practice, not very advanced. But Christians are very advanced. They know how to convince, how to win the hearts of others by presenting their ideologies and doctrine. And this saying is so simple, but very meaningful. Sukkarani asadhuni. Sukkarani means easy to do. Asadhuni means bad thing. Easy to do bad thing. Which kind of bad thing? Attano ahitanicha. That which harm ourselves. It is very easy for us to do. But yangve hitancha sadhuncha. But it is very, very difficult for us to do certain good things which are useful to us. Yangve hitancha sadhuncha. Tangve parama dukkaram. It's very, very difficult. Dukkaram means difficult. It is true. We can understand, as I mentioned just now, many bad things that we are committing. We like to do because we want to see the immediate result, to enjoy our life or to gain something. But by practicing that method, we harm ourselves. We know that. We had to pay the price, either within this lifetime or hereafter. We cannot escape. By knowingly, we commit evil deeds. But it will take a long time for us to train our mind to understand, to stop all the bad deeds and to do good things which are very important, helpful, support us, to avoid our sufferings, our disturbances, our miseries, our worries. The method is there. But we handle the wrong way, the other way around. The reason is our minds are used to do bad things. Life after life, we have been doing more bad things than good things. Somehow or the other, certain good karma supported us to be born as human beings. But among those human beings, say 90%, by knowingly commit more bad things than good things. Not even 10% adjust their life not to do bad things, but to do good things. Because of that sansaric habit. So, what we are doing, what we are learning, and how we trying to train our mind become our habit later. Then we have more facilities, privileges, more chances in the next life if we could not attain the higher stage within this life. But those who have neglected, those who are ignorant, those who cannot understand the situation, suffer more, either as human beings or animals or any other forms of living beings. So in that respect, you can understand, you are not that bad. First thing, you had the courage, understanding to come here, to know something, by knowing that this will help us to cultivate our way of life, reduce our worries and fear and disturbances, and hereafter, if there is another existence or another life, we are preparing for that. But others are not preparing for that. But every time when you come here, you do some sort of meritorious deeds. Even listening to the Dhamma is a meritorious deed. It's a good karma. Otherwise, all sort of rubbish ideas work in your mind. Now, your minds are free from those rubbish ideas. You are paying attention, listening, concentrating, and you enrich your knowledge. Slowly, 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 you develop your understanding. Then this will become your habit. This habit definitely help you to have better rebirth and to continue your respectable way of life in the next, without having so much of problems. This is the nature. So, the difficulty of stopping all these bad things at once is our habits, previous birth. We must have very strong understanding and determinations and willpower to stop and turn towards the other way around, to do more meritorious deeds, to lead a pure life, to lead a harmless life, to lead a respectable life. That is what we need. Whatever religious labels we have, they are not very important for us. This evening, 4 Malay girls came from International Islamic University. They are preparing their essay writing on Buddhism. They wanted to collect more information, what is Buddhism, the Buddhist attitude about rites and rituals and ceremonies and karma and rebirth and meditation. So I explained in simple language. They have recorded and they have written their essays. After that, they say they will come again within few days' time. It is very interesting because I could manage to wipe out the wrong concept that they maintain about Buddhism. Because they never get the chance to come and talk to us, associate with us. But when they come and associate, in the same manner, if we study real Islam, what Islam is, the wrong belief that we have about Islam also reduces. It is our imagination. The others also have same imagination. Therefore, we should not hate or discriminate, show our hostile attitude toward any religion. There are a lot of differences, but we have common sense to understand what is right and what is wrong. That is enough for us. Yes. Please remember these sayings of the Buddha. These stanza also Buddha had to recite because of Devadatta. Yes, any questions? I think it has become a habit for you not to ask questions when I talk. Are you scared of me or what is this? Because that reverend who came the other day, he told me, do you know why they do not ask questions? They are scared the way how you answer the question, he told me. I'm not that bad actually, you know. bit near. What is? That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Hmm. Just now I think I explained, isn't it? Yeah. I repeat, I explained just now. Assume I have done 99% good karmas in my life. Still I have not attained arahanthood or sainthood. At the dying moment, if any of my bad karma appear in my mind, there is no guarantee that rebirth will never take place in the unfortunate state. And that is my situation. There were many monks during the Buddha's time who have been leading a religious life, but they are not arahantas. And before their death, one particular monk is a very good monk, but he had a very strong craving toward his robe. Those days, a robe is a very, very rare thing. 2,500 years ago, because they didn't know how to make clothing, no machines, nothing. When there's one robe, a few hundred monks may come and fight for that one particular robe. So, before his death, that strong craving and attachment toward the robe, he could not withdraw. He died with that craving in the robe. So rebirth has taken place as a butt in the same robe, only for 7 days. The Buddha pointed out, do you know this preacher or that monk? Because attachment toward this robe, now rebirth has taken place, but live only for 7 days. After that, you get a better rebirth. In your case, you have done a lot of bad deeds. You are also doing some good deeds. At the dying moment, if one of those good karmas appear in the mind before the death, rebirth can take place in a fortunate state, but only for a certain period. Later, the other bad karmas follow. But during that lifetime, as I mentioned just now, if you continue by doing more and more good deeds, then the bad karma still cannot come and catch. That is the answer. It's very important. Still got time. Then you have to challenge with that reverend, but you don't want to challenge with me. Yeah? Yeah. Yes. Very good. I have answered this already. I think you have better. Yes, yes. So now you want to be with the same wife in the next birth also? I have explained, but there are many newcomers. Buddheva sannivasena paccuppanna hitenava Evaṁ taṁ jayate premaṁ uppalaṁ yatrodaki. This is the way how the Buddha explains. He said, when we develop our attachment, affection, or inclination, or mutual understanding, cooperation, these mental forces work just like magnetic power. But the trouble is this, there must be equal karma. One person is religious, the other person is not religious. But they have strong attachment, understanding, cooperation and unity, everything. But different kind of karma. Then there is no guarantee that both can become human beings. One can become animal, another one become human. Therefore, karma also must have equal. In the case of the Buddha, the same husband, same wife, same children. 555 stories are there in the Jataka. He mentioned only that much. Because they have cultivated the same degree of karma as well as attachment and inclination. So, in certain families, we can understand this very clearly. Although they are very poor, the relationship and understanding between husband and wife are remarkable. Their love and attachment because of that previous activity. But in certain families, all the multi-millionaires, they have more than enough things. They don't know what to do, everything. But they are like cock and bull. Cannot talk to each other, cannot look at each other, cannot live happily, cannot stay peacefully. Because they are strangers. Just met only, first time. They do not know their mentality, their understanding. No, cannot cope up, cannot understand. If understanding is there, they can share all the pleasure and pain without grumbling, without accusing, without blaming. Because they think it is our duty to share. Then reduce the worry and pain and suffering. So the husband can contribute many things to reduce wife's suffering. The wife can contribute a lot to reduce husband's suffering if they have mutual understanding. Because they have confidence, they have goodwill, they have understanding, and they don't feel loneliness. But if these good qualities are not there, all their money and property and everything are useless. These things we have to develop equally. Love as well as good karma. Otherwise they separate. Yes. This is another complicated question that many people have not yet understood. It is very clearly mentioned in the Buddha's teaching. I can refer Anguttara Nikaya Sutta Pitaka mentioned, he said, all our misfortune, sicknesses, problems are not due to our previous life. The present way of life are responsible. Circumstances, environment, food, wind, heat, and so many things, daily routine. Mostly these things create lot of problems which have nothing to do with the previous life. But beside that, the Buddha says there are certain things in Girimananda Sutra. It is also in Paritta chanting book. He says, Kaso, Saso, Pinaso, Daho, Jaro, Kuchirogo, Mukarogo, Dantarogo, the name of sicknesses he mentioned. Even Madhumeho, diabetes also there in that list. Diabetes. He said, Kamma Vipakaja Abhada in that list. The sickness created due to previous karma, certain sicknesses. The Buddha has mentioned, explained to his disciples that he was suffering from these sicknesses because of certain bad karmas he had committed during long ago, till he remains in there. And Muggallana was murdered by gangsters, just now I mentioned. He had to suffer, he had to face that untimely death because he had done same thing to his parents during one of his previous births. But he did not kill them. He has taken his father and mother, both were blind, because his wife. His wife grumbled every day, I cannot stay in this house, I want to go back if you do not try to get rid of these two. No other choice. This man carried this blind father and blind mother into the jungle far away and tied them and released in the jungle and come back. Did not kill. Because of that, he had to pay. The Buddha explained to the others, why Muggallana had to face this. So certain things are definitely some incurable sicknesses due to our own karma, but not all. Five minutes more, one more question. No more. All right. Sharing of merits.
Imina punya kammena upajjaya gunuttara achariyupakarace mata pita piya Suryo Candhimaraja Gunavanta Narapice Brahmaraja Hindace Lokapalace De Yamo Mitta Manusace Majjata Verika Sabbe Satta Sukhi Punyani Pakata Sukhanceti Vidandentu Kippam Papeta Homatang Imina Punya Kammena Imina Uddisena Kippahang Sulabhe Cheva